my pleasure to kick this off and welcome all of you. In just a moment, I'll introduce our director to formally begin, but before we get underway, I just want to thank the volunteers in our community who help us with our historic sites. They provide invaluable assistance day in and day out, and without that extra help and those contributions, we simply wouldn't be able to do what we do for education and preservation and for our economy. So we want to thank those volunteers who are out there. And with that, I'd like to welcome Director Wayne Rosenthal.
Thanks, Justin. As Justin said, I'm Wayne Rosenthal, Director of Natural Resources, and I want to also welcome everyone to one of Illinois' true treasures, the Frank Lloyd Wright designed Dana Thomas House here in Springfield. I want to thank Director Corey Jobe and our partners at the Illinois Office of Tourism for including this beautiful venue for this week's announcement of the Frank Lloyd Wright Trail here in Illinois. Susan Lawrence Dana essentially gave Frank Lloyd Wright a blank check when she commissioned this home, and Wright put her money to good use. You see Wright's incredible craftsmanship everywhere you look while visiting the Dana Thomas House. This house has been rightly called an architectural masterpiece. Thanks to our Department of Natural Resources, historic preservation staff, and all the hundreds of volunteers, as we mentioned before, we are able to welcome tens of thousands of visitors to the Dana Thomas House each year. We're especially busy this time of year with school children visiting the Capitol for their spring field trips. We expect that the promotion of the Frank Lloyd Wright Trail will bring even more visitors throughout the state, from around the country and from all over the globe, to this brilliant showcase of Frank Lloyd Wright's genius. So it is my honor and pleasure to introduce Corey Jobe, our Director of Tourism.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. Thank you. Well, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be back in Springfield. Governor Rauner, thank you for joining us. It's a big week in Illinois tourism. It's National Travel and Tourism Week, and we celebrate National Travel and Tourism Week each year. It's the 35th year for National Travel and Tourism Week. So all 50 states partnering with the U.S. Travel Association really give us a chance to highlight the economic impact work we do as a state and as a nation in terms of travel and tourism. The theme of this year's National Travel and Tourism Week is tourism then and tourism now. And we thought it was really appropriate to debut the Frank Lloyd Wright Trail, as it's also our state's bicentennial year. This is a very big celebration in our state. December 3rd will be our actual birthday, our 200th birthday, so we thought it was appropriate to really begin to highlight one of the great Illinoisans, Frank Lloyd Wright, who really put his mark and his stamp on history, culture, and really a lot of communities around the state. So yesterday in Oak Park at Frank Lloyd Wright's home and studio, we announced the start of the Frank Lloyd Wright Trail. This morning we were in Rockford at the Lawrence House. The Lawrence House is the only home that Frank Lloyd Wright ever designed for someone that was bound to a wheelchair. And that husband and wife lived in the Lawrence home for almost 60 years. And now it's just recently been turned over to the Lawrence House Foundation, where it's now open to the public on weekends. We also announced, along with the trail, we're working with the Illinois Department of Transportation on signage, and I'm going to have Governor Rauner and I unveil the new Frank Lloyd Wright Trail signage that will be all throughout the state, really connecting all of our communities. And the goal of the trail is to inspire travel throughout the state and really engage with visitors from not only around Illinois, around the Midwest, but from around the world. People travel from all throughout the world to come to Illinois to experience all of our great sites and attractions, but they also love to experience Frank Lloyd Wright architecture. And the 150th birthday of Frank Lloyd Wright was a year ago, and when we were talking to a lot of tour groups, media in our key markets, in the European markets, China, Japan, they all really know and understand Frank Lloyd Wright, but didn't realize we were the home to more Frank Lloyd Wright designed sites than any other place in the world. And so it was time that we put our stamp on it. And we think the Frank Lloyd Wright Trail will give us a chance to connect pretty familiar homes like the home and studio in Oak Park, here the Dana Thomas House, but some not familiar sites like the Lawrence House in Rockford or the B. Harley Bradley House in Kankakee that have just recently opened to the public. We also announced a new landing page at enjoyillinois.com/FLW. It's a brand new landing page where we have trip itineraries, suggested stops along the way. We have 2 trip itineraries that will take you from Chicago, Oak Park, Rockford, with stops in Geneva, Belvedere, and Hampshire. And the second trip itinerary will take you from Chicago, Oak Park, Kankakee here to Springfield. And the bottom line is to make sure that we make it as easy as possible so visitors can visit our historic sites, spend a little money while they're in these communities, and hopefully get them to overnight. That's the goal. This is a way to drive more economic spending and dollars in our communities around the state. We couldn't do this. This has been a little bit of a process. We started this process out last year, but we found it really fitting that we got it through the legislature during the state's bicentennial year celebration. State Representative Tim Butler, who's joining us here today, Representative, was very instrumental in getting the House Joint Resolution through the House, and State Senator Don Harmon from Oak Park was our Senate sponsor. So we want to thank those 2 individuals. Representative Butler, thank you. And so with that, I will, I'm going to have the governor and I, can we unveil? Okay. Real quick, and then we'll have, so this is our official sign.
Ready?
Here we go. I'm not as tall. There we go.
Oh, nice.
So that will be the official sign. We're working with IDOT today to mark the route. Later this summer, the signs will be up all throughout the state, connecting the 13 sites with the numerous communities around Illinois. And with that, I'd like to introduce State Representative Tim Butler. Tim? No, you're next.
All right, I'm just trying to follow the order here. Yeah,
right.
it's supposed to be the mayor, but
Yeah,
that's all right.
I see that.
We'll make sure that I'll be short.
Follow instructions.
I'll be. It's like big right here.
Yeah, it's right there.
You
Well,
need
my
those-
book was
I got
over
some
it.
cheaters. Well, good afternoon, and thank you for being here, Governor. Thank you for coming down the. I guess you're still technically at the fairgrounds for a few more weeks, right? Yeah. So thanks for coming down the street here. This is a great day for all of Illinois, actually, as we announced the Frank Lloyd Wright Trail. It was my honor. You know, Corey approached me last year about introducing the House Joint Resolution 66, which became the Frank Lloyd Wright Trail that Senator Harmon picked up in the Senate. And as Corey said, it took a little while. We were hoping to get it during his 150th birthday year last year, but it's really good that we have this going in the bicentennial. It's a great celebration of our bicentennial year. And I was just here yesterday in the Sumac Bookshop talking to Justin Blanford. And as I stood there, in less than a few minutes, we had a couple from Seattle that walked in the door and a woman from California. And the reason they came here to Springfield was to check out this house. And so that really underscores the draw that this has to our community. And on top of that, there was one of the Senate's girl who's interning for one of the senators, Senator Altoff, who was here, who wanted to tour the house. And I talked to her this morning, and she said, "I love Great Gatsby." And this was like going into the Gatsby movie, like touring the house. That's why she wanted to see it. So it was pretty cool. It's just an honor for me. You know, Frank Lloyd Wright, to me, I grew up in Peoria, and we have a beautiful Frank Lloyd Wright home on Moss Avenue in Peoria. And that was my introduction to Frank Lloyd Wright. Every time I drive down Moss Avenue, everybody knew that was the Wright home in Peoria. And so this man had such an impact on our state and such an impact on our world, to be honest with you. This is a great thing to have, and this is really going to generate a positive economic impact, but really a greater awareness around Wright and the legacy that he's left here in Illinois. So it's my honor to be here, and thank you, Governor, for doing this.
Thank you very much on behalf of the City Council and the residents and Alderman Senor, who is the alderman of this ward. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate our Convention Visitors Bureau, all they do, and the volunteers that was recognized, and our Historic Sites Superintendent. But I'd really like to tell Director Job thank you for all he's done with promoting Illinois. You know, it's been tough times, and he's really lifted up that level of opportunity for Illinois, and that in turn has helped Springfield. So, Governor, you made a great choice in selecting Director Jobe. He didn't know I was going to say that. No, I didn't. And see, we get along probably better now than we did on the council, wouldn't you say? only different issues. But really, it's about how do we? It's like putting a puzzle together, and Frank Lloyd Wright's house is near and dear to my heart because I was the board president during the 100th anniversary. At that time, before that, Governor Thompson knew the importance of preserving the house, otherwise it wouldn't be here. And thank you to Governor Rauner and his wife for what they're doing at the mansion, because it's just up the street and it's all about connectivity, and thanks to your leadership, that will be restored. It's the third oldest lived-in governor's mansion in the country, and that's due to your efforts. We appreciate you breathing life back into the mansion. So I'd encourage you just to walk down the street, because the Condell House is going to be redone, it's my understanding, but that connects up to the mansion, and then the Jackson Street corridor, and then whatever happens on the Y block will be magnificent. And but it connects everything, and that's what it's all about, and that's what the trail, the Frank Lloyd Wright Trail, does. It connects all of Illinois, and that's what it's about. How do we work together to promote Illinois, and that will help drive economic development for all the communities within Illinois, and that's what it's all about. We have a great state, especially for the bicentennial. We thank the governor for all he's done to promote that. Director Rosenthal, as well as Tim Butler, he's a great partner of ours in the legislature. So we appreciate you being here, and we look forward to continuing this journey to educate our population for future generations. So thank you for being part of it.
Well, this is a great day for the people of Illinois, great day for more economic opportunity for the people of Illinois. Architecture is simply part of the quality of life for all of our citizens. We in Illinois are blessed. We have more Frank Lloyd Wright designed buildings in our state than anywhere else in the world. Frank Lloyd Wright was simply, I believe, the world's first starchitect. Star, architect, designer. Brilliant designer. This is one of the most beautiful homes anywhere in the world. We're very blessed to have this here in the city of Springfield. And now we've created a specific trail designed to help tourists find these buildings and enjoy the process of being in Illinois, visiting our communities, visiting our restaurants, visiting our shops and our hotels and our motels, and enjoying everything that's wonderful about the great state of Illinois. Here in our bicentennial, we celebrate everything that's born, built, and grown here, and our architecture is part of that process. With this trail, and there are 9 communities and 13 buildings, 9 communities, 13 buildings on the trail. There's a southern or south driving leg and a sort of a western leg from the Chicago area, and Chicago, Kankakee, Dwight, and here in Springfield. And then you've got Chicago, that's the Oak Park, Geneva, Hampshire, going out to Belvedere, and then Rockford. And these are wonderful communities with incredible architecture, and now folks can know exactly where to go, follow the map, and go visit wonderful other places along the way. My wife and I are passionate about the history of Illinois. We love it. I've lived in Illinois my whole life, and I can't tell you how much I enjoy living in Springfield. It's fantastic. We are excited to have the mansion open for everybody. We're going to be back. We're going to move back in just a couple weeks and have the big celebrations this summer. And again, that building is one of the most special buildings anywhere in America, and we're proud to have that restored to much of its historic grandeur. And we'll welcome all of you to come. I'm very excited. My wife is ecstatic about this. I've actually enjoyed the fairgrounds for a year. My wife is, the goat pens get a little, but we're excited. We're excited to come back to the mansion here in a couple weeks. And this will be all part of having downtown Springfield thrive, bring more tourists, bring more visitors, bring more development, more construction. This is what we're striving to do. And it's about enhancing the quality of life for the residents of Springfield, but all the people of Illinois. And people will come from around the world to see Frank Lloyd Wright designed buildings just like this one. They come from around the world to enjoy Route 66 and see these historic structures on the way coming on Route 66. Huge economic engine and more tourism. So it's a very exciting time. Thank you for joining us today. It's time to celebrate the historic Frank Lloyd Wright Trail. Enjoy, everybody. Thanks very much.